The corner of Fayette and Monroe. A young man, barely out of his teens, stands defiant, a king in a kingdom of crumbling brick and broken promises. This is Bodie Broadus, and his story, brought to visceral life by Bobby J. Brown, isn't just a subplot in The Wire, it's the beating, bleeding heart of the series' indictment of systemic failure. From his earliest appearances, Bodie wasn't merely a drug dealer, he was a survivor, a strategist, and ultimately, a tragic figure whose journey mirrored the very streets he patrolled. His arc, from a cocky, ambitious foot soldier to a disillusioned veteran, is a masterclass in character development, a slow, agonizing burn that culminates in one of television's most gut-wrenching conclusions. What made Bodie so unforgettable? It was the raw, unvarnished truth Bobby J. Brown poured into every scene, every defiant stare, every moment of quiet despair. He didn't just play a character, he embodied the spirit of a generation lost to the game, a generation whose choices were often dictated by circumstance rather than ambition. The stakes for Bodie were always life and death, not just physically, but spiritually. He fought for respect, for territory, for a sense of belonging in a world that offered little of either. Brown's portrayal captured this struggle with an intensity that few actors achieve, making Bodie's fate feel not just inevitable, but deeply personal to the viewer. His story forces us to confront uncomfortable truths about society, about opportunity, and about the crushing weight of a system designed to consume its own. Before The Wire became a cultural phenomenon, before its intricate tapestry of urban life captivated critics and audiences, there was the meticulous casting process that sought out authenticity above all else. Bobby J. Brown, a relatively unknown actor at the time, stepped into the role of Bodie Broadus, a character who would grow far beyond his initial description. The show's creators, David Simon and Ed Burns, were committed to populating their Baltimore saga with faces that felt real, voices that echoed the city's cadence, and experiences that resonated with its harsh realities. Brown's natural intensity and understated power made him a perfect fit. He wasn't just reciting lines, he was inhabiting a world he understood, bringing an organic truth to Bodie that transcended the script. The tension in Bodie's early life on the show was palpable. He was a young man eager to prove himself, navigating the treacherous hierarchy of the drug trade, constantly looking over his shoulder. Every interaction, every transaction, carried the weight of potential violence or betrayal. Brown masterfully conveyed this constant state of alert, the youthful bravado masking a deeper vulnerability. We saw Bodie mature, or rather, harden, as the seasons progressed. The initial cockiness gave way to a weary pragmatism, a growing understanding of the futility of his existence within the game. This wasn't a sudden transformation, it was a gradual erosion of innocence, a slow tightening of the noose, expertly portrayed by Brown, making his eventual downfall all the more tragic. Bodie's journey through The Wire is punctuated by moments of profound emotional weight, each one a testament to Bobby J. Brown's nuanced performance. Consider his unwavering loyalty to the Barksdale organization, even as it crumbled around him. He was a soldier, committed to a code, even when that code led to increasingly bleak outcomes. Brown conveyed this internal conflict with remarkable subtlety, a flicker in his eyes, a slight tremor in his voice, revealing the cracks beneath the hardened exterior. One of the most pivotal scenes, and arguably a turning point for the character, was his conversation with McNulty on the park bench. Here, Bodie articulates the systemic nature of his entrapment, the feeling of being a pawn in a game far larger than himself. "This ain't no game, man," he tells McNulty, "this is my life." Brown delivered these lines not with anger, but with a weary resignation, a profound understanding of his limited options. It was a moment of raw, heartbreaking clarity, where the character transcended the stereotype and became a voice for countless others. This scene, more than any other, solidified Bodie's place as a tragic hero, a young man with intelligence and potential, but no viable path out of the life he was born into. Brown's ability to convey such complex emotions, often with minimal dialogue, is what elevated Bodie from a supporting player to an indispensable part of the show's moral fabric. The brilliance of Bobby J. Brown's Bodie lies in his representation of the systemic forces at play in The Wire. He wasn't just a character, he was a living embodiment of the show's central thesis: that institutions, not individuals, are often the true antagonists. Bodie's increasing disillusionment, his growing awareness of the futility of his efforts, mirrored the show's broader commentary on the war on drugs. Brown's performance allowed us to see the human cost of these policies, the way they chew up and spit out young men like Bodie. His defiance, particularly in the face of Marlo Stanfield's ruthless ascent, wasn't born of foolishness, but of a desperate clinging to a fading sense of order and loyalty. He understood the rules of the old game, and the new one was simply too cold, too devoid of any honor. The scene of his death, sudden and brutal, is a stark reminder of the unforgiving nature of his world. Brown played Bodie's final moments with a raw, desperate courage, a final stand against an inevitable tide. It wasn't a glorious death, but a tragically realistic one, underscoring the show's commitment to authenticity. This wasn't just the end of a character, it was the culmination of a narrative thread that had been meticulously woven since the very first season, a testament to the actor's ability to make us care deeply about a character who, on the surface, might have been dismissed as just another street corner statistic. Bobby J. Brown's portrayal of Bodie Broadus remains one of The Wire's most enduring and impactful performances. His ability to infuse a character, initially conceived as a minor player, with such depth, vulnerability, and tragic dignity speaks volumes about his talent. Bodie became more than just a street dealer, he became a symbol of lost potential, a casualty of a system that offered no real escape. Brown's nuanced acting ensured that Bodie's story resonated long after his final scene, prompting viewers to grapple with the complex social issues the show so bravely explored. The legacy of Bodie Broadus is not just in his memorable lines or his defiant spirit, but in the way he forced audiences to confront the humanity within seemingly hardened individuals, and the devastating consequences of societal neglect. His story is a powerful reminder that behind every statistic, there is a life, a struggle, and often, a heartbreaking end. As we reflect on The Wire's unparalleled impact, it's performances like Bobby J. Brown's that cement its status as a masterpiece. They challenge us to look closer, to understand deeper, and to question the narratives we're often presented. What other characters from The Wire do you believe embody the show's core messages most powerfully? Share your thoughts and continue the conversation about this seminal work.